Welcome. This is a space for rest and quiet learning. A space where your mind can wander and your body can fully relax. In this video, we'll gently explore the human body from head to toe, system by system. Not in a rush, not to test or challenge, but simply to accompany you with calm, steady rhythms and thoughtful detail. It's a journey through the body, made for restful curiosity. You don't need to focus hard. You don't need to stay alert. You can let your eyes close, your shoulders soften, and your breath slow down. This experience is designed to promote relaxation while allowing your mind to absorb the patterns, rhythms, and language of human anatomy in the background. Whether you're preparing for sleep, studying in a calm way, or simply looking for something peaceful, you're in the right place. As we begin, let go of any pressure to remember or perform. Let the words pass through, like a breeze across the surface of water. Let the structure of the body unfold as you rest deeply. We'll begin shortly. For now, settle in and let everything become quiet. The adult human skeleton is composed of 206 bones. It is divided into the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton includes the skull, vertebral column, and thoracic cage. The appendicular skeleton includes the limbs and girdles. The skull consists of 22 bones, 8 cranial and 14 facial. The vertebral column contains 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 fused sacral, and 3 to 5 fused coccygeal vertebrae. The rib cage includes 12 pairs of ribs and the sternum. Bones are made of compact and spongy tissue and are covered by the periosteum. Bone marrow inside long bones is responsible for hematopoiesis, or blood cell production. Joints connect bones and are classified as fibrous, cartilaginous, or synovial. The muscular system consists of 3 types of muscle: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. Skeletal muscle is striated and voluntary, attached to bones via tendons. Smooth muscle is non-striated and involuntary, found in the walls of hollow organs. Cardiac muscle is striated and involuntary, found only in the heart. Muscles work in pairs to produce movement through contraction and relaxation. The deltoid abducts the arm. The biceps brachii flexes the elbow. The triceps brachii extends the elbow. The quadriceps femoris extends the knee. The hamstrings flex the knee. The gastrocnemius and soleus muscles contribute to plantar flexion of the foot. The skull protects the brain and supports facial structures. The orbit houses the eye and includes contributions from 7 bones. The external ear includes the auricle and external auditory canal. The middle ear contains the ossicles malleus, incus, and stapes. The inner ear includes the cochlea and vestibular system. The nasal cavity is separated by the nasal septum and lined with mucous membrane. Paranasal sinuses include the frontal, maxillary, ethmoid, and sphenoid sinuses. The pharynx connects the nasal cavity and mouth to the esophagus and larynx. The larynx contains the vocal folds and is involved in phonation. The tonsils are masses of lymphatic tissue located in the pharynx. The skin is the largest organ of the body. It consists of 3 primary layers: epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. The epidermis contains keratinocytes, melanocytes, Langerhans cells, and Merkel cells. Melanin is produced by melanocytes and contributes to skin pigmentation. The dermis contains connective tissue, hair follicles, sebaceous glands, and sweat glands. The hypodermis, or subcutaneous layer, consists mostly of fat and connective tissue. Sweat glands help regulate body temperature through perspiration. Sebaceous glands secrete sebum to lubricate the skin and hair. Hair is composed of keratin and grows from follicles located in the dermis. Nails are made of hard keratin and grow from the nail matrix. The cardiovascular system consists of the heart, blood vessels, and blood. Its primary function is to transport oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and waste products throughout the body. This system also plays a role in thermoregulation, immune function, and maintaining homeostasis. The heart is a muscular organ located in the mediastinum between the lungs. It is roughly the size of a closed fist and is enclosed within the pericardium, a double-layered membrane. The heart wall consists of 3 layers: the epicardium, outer, myocardium, middle, and endocardium, inner. The heart has 4 chambers: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the body via the superior and inferior vena cavae. Blood flows through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, which pumps it to the lungs through the pulmonary valve and pulmonary artery. In the lungs, gas exchange occurs, carbon dioxide is released, and oxygen is absorbed. Oxygenated blood returns to the left atrium via the pulmonary veins. It passes through the mitral valve into the left ventricle, which pumps it through the aortic valve into the aorta for distribution to the body. The heart valves ensure one-way flow of blood and prevent backflow. The atrioventricular valves are the tricuspid, right, and mitral, left valves. The semilunar valves are the pulmonary, right, and aortic, left valves. The right side of the heart is responsible for pulmonary circulation. It delivers deoxygenated blood to the lungs and returns oxygenated blood to the left atrium. The left side of the heart manages systemic circulation. It pumps oxygen-rich blood to the body and returns oxygen-poor blood to the right atrium. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. They have thick muscular walls to withstand high pressure. The largest artery is the aorta, which originates from the left ventricle and branches into systemic arteries. Veins carry blood toward the heart. They have thinner walls and larger lumens than arteries and often contain valves to prevent backflow. The superior vena cava returns blood from the upper body. The inferior vena cava returns blood from the lower body. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels and are one cell layer thick. They form networks called capillary beds where the exchange of gases, nutrients, and wastes occurs between blood and tissues. Blood pressure is the force of circulating blood on the walls of arteries. It is influenced by cardiac output, blood volume, resistance of the vessels, and elasticity of arterial walls. The conduction system of the heart controls the rhythm of the heartbeat. The sinoatrial node, located in the right atrium, initiates electrical impulses and acts as the natural pacemaker. Impulses travel to the atrioventricular node, down the bundle of His, and through Purkinje fibers, causing coordinated contraction of the heart chambers. Coronary arteries supply oxygen-rich blood to the myocardium. The right and left coronary arteries branch from the base of the aorta and encircle the heart. Coronary veins drain into the coronary sinus, which empties into the right atrium. Blood is composed of plasma and formed elements. Plasma is the fluid component and makes up about 55% of blood volume. The elements include red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells transport oxygen using hemoglobin. White blood cells defend against infection. Platelets help with blood clotting. The cardiovascular system works in conjunction with the respiratory and lymphatic systems. Together, they maintain oxygen delivery, carbon dioxide removal, and immune surveillance. The system facilitates gas exchange between the body and the external environment. Its primary function is to supply oxygen to the blood and remove carbon dioxide, a waste product of cellular respiration. The respiratory tract is divided into two regions, the upper and lower respiratory tracts. The upper tract includes the nasal cavity, pharynx, and larynx. The lower tract includes the trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and lungs. air enters the body through the nasal cavity, located within the nose. The nasal passages are lined with mucous membranes and cilia that filter dust, pathogens, and particulates. Inhaled air is also warmed and humidified before reaching the lungs. The pharynx, or throat, is a muscular tube that connects the nasal cavity to the larynx and esophagus. It serves as a common pathway for both air and food and is divided into 3 regions: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. The larynx, or voice box, is located at the top of the trachea. It contains the vocal cords, which vibrate to produce sound. The larynx also houses the epiglottis, a flap that closes over the trachea during swallowing to prevent aspiration. The trachea, or windpipe, is a tube composed of C-shaped cartilage rings. It conducts air from the larynx to the bronchi and is lined with ciliated epithelium that moves mucus upward toward the pharynx. At the lower end of the trachea, air passes into the right and left primary bronchi. Each bronchus enters a lung and divides into secondary bronchi, which correspond to each lung lobe. These further divide into tertiary bronchi and smaller bronchioles. Bronchioles are small airways that lack cartilage and branch extensively throughout the lungs. They terminate in alveolar ducts, which lead to alveolar sacs composed of clusters of alveoli. Alveoli are microscopic air sacs and the primary site of gas exchange. Each alveolus is surrounded by a dense capillary network where oxygen diffuses into the blood and carbon dioxide diffuses out. The alveolar walls are composed of simple squamous epithelium and are coated with surfactant, a substance that reduces surface tension and prevents alveolar collapse. The lungs are paired, spongy organs located in the thoracic cavity. The right lung is divided into 3 lobes: superior, middle, and inferior. The left lung has 2 lobes, superior and inferior, and contains a cardiac notch to accommodate the heart. The lungs are enclosed in pleural membranes. Visceral pleura covers the lungs. Parietal pleura lines the thoracic cavity. The pleural cavity between them contains pleural fluid, which reduces friction during breathing. The diaphragm is the primary muscle of respiration. It is a dome-shaped muscle that contracts and flattens during inhalation, increasing thoracic volume and drawing air into the lungs. During exhalation, the diaphragm relaxes and returns to its dome shape, decreasing thoracic volume and expelling air. Accessory respiratory muscles include the intercostal muscles, sternocleidomastoid, and abdominal muscles. These assist in forced breathing during exertion, speaking, or respiratory distress. Gas exchange is driven by differences in partial pressure,
Oxygen moves from the alveoli into pulmonary capillaries, where it binds to hemoglobin in red blood cells. Carbon dioxide, produced by body tissues, is transported back to the lungs and diffuses from the capillaries into the alveoli to be exhaled. Respiratory rate and depth are regulated by the respiratory centers in the brainstem. The medulla oblongata and pons monitor levels of carbon dioxide, oxygen, and pH in the blood to maintain homeostasis. The respiratory system works in conjunction with the cardiovascular system. Together, they ensure oxygen delivery to tissues and removal of metabolic waste.
The nervous system is the body's communication network. It consists of two primary divisions, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system, or CNS, includes the brain and spinal cord. It is responsible for integrating sensory information and coordinating motor output. The CNS acts as the command center of the body. The brain is housed within the cranial cavity and is composed of three main regions: the cerebrum, cerebellum, and brainstem. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. It is divided into two cerebral hemispheres, right and left. Each hemisphere is further divided into four lobes: frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital. The cerebrum controls higher cognitive functions, voluntary movement, emotion, memory, language, and sensory processing. Its surface is covered with folds called gyri and grooves called sulci, increasing the brain's surface area. The cerebral cortex is the outer layer of the cerebrum. It contains gray matter and is involved in conscious thought and decision-making. Beneath the cortex lies white matter, composed of myelinated axons that connect different brain regions. The cerebellum is located posterior to the brainstem and inferior to the cerebrum. It coordinates voluntary movement, maintains posture, and supports balance. It receives input from sensory systems and the spinal cord to fine-tune motor activity. The brainstem connects the cerebrum to the spinal cord. It consists of the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. The brainstem regulates vital functions such as breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. It also serves as a pathway for nerve fibers traveling
between the brain and body. The spinal cord is a long cylindrical structure extending from the brainstem through the vertebral canal. It is protected by the vertebrae, meninges, and cerebrospinal fluid. The spinal cord is divided into regions: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal. It conducts nerve impulses between the brain and peripheral nerves and is responsible for reflex actions. The meninges are 3 protective membranes surrounding the brain and spinal cord. From outermost to innermost, they are the dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. These layers provide mechanical protection and help circulate cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, is a clear fluid that cushions the CNS. It is produced by the choroid plexus in the brain's ventricles and circulates through the subarachnoid space. CSF provides buoyancy, removes waste, and delivers nutrients. Neurons are the primary functional units of the nervous system. They are specialized cells that transmit electrical signals. A typical neuron consists of a cell body, dendrites, and an axon. Dendrites receive incoming signals. The axon transmits signals to other neurons or target tissues. Encompasses the urinary and reproductive organs. It performs critical functions in waste elimination, fluid and electrolyte balance, and reproduction. The urinary system filters blood to produce urine, regulates fluid volume, and maintains electrolyte and acid-base balance. Its primary organs include the kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. The kidneys are paired bean-shaped organs located retroperitoneally on either side of the vertebral column. They receive approximately 20 to 25% of cardiac output through the renal arteries. Each kidney contains over 1 million nephrons, which are the functional filtration units. Nephrons filter blood plasma, reabsorb necessary substances, secrete wastes, and produce urine. The urine formed in the kidneys collects in the renal pelvis and drains into the ureters. Ureters are muscular tubes approximately 25 to 30 centimeters long that convey urine from the kidneys to the urinary bladder through peristaltic contractions. The ureters enter the bladder obliquely, creating a valve-like mechanism to prevent urine backflow. The urinary bladder is a hollow, distensible organ located in the pelvic cavity. It stores urine until voluntary release. The bladder wall contains smooth muscle fibers called the detrusor muscle. Urine exits the bladder via the urethra. The urethra is a tubular structure that conducts urine from the bladder to the exterior of the body. In males, the urethra is approximately 20 centimeters long and serves a dual function as a passage for urine and semen. In females, the urethra is shorter, about 4 centimeters, and serves exclusively for urine excretion. The male reproductive system includes the testes, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, prostate gland, bulbourethral glands, and penis. The testes are oval glands located within the scrotum. They produce spermatozoa and the hormone testosterone. Spermatogenesis occurs in the seminiferous tubules supported by Sertolgi cells. Leydig cells between the tubules secrete testosterone, which regulates male secondary sexual characteristics and libido. Mature sperm are stored and further matured in the epididymis, a coiled tube located on the posterior surface of each testis. During ejaculation, sperm travel through the vas deferens, a muscular duct that transports sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory ducts. The seminal vesicles contribute a viscous fructose-rich fluid to semen that provides energy for sperm motility. The prostate gland secretes an alkaline fluid that helps neutralize the acidic environment of the female reproductive tract and enhances sperm viability. The bulbourethral or Cowper's glands secrete a lubricating mucus prior to ejaculation. The penis is the external male copulatory organ. It contains erectile tissues, the corpora cavernosa and corpus spongiosum, that fill with blood during sexual arousal, producing an erection. The urethra runs through the corpus spongiosum and serves as the conduit for both urine and semen. The female reproductive system comprises the ovaries, fallopian tubes or uterine tubes, uterus, vagina, and external genitalia. The ovaries are paired, almond-shaped organs located on either side of the uterus. They produce ova, or eggs, and secrete the hormones estrogen and progesterone. Oogenesis occurs in the ovarian follicles, which mature cyclically during the menstrual cycle. The fallopian tubes extend laterally from the uterus toward the ovaries, but do not directly connect to them. They capture the released ovum and provide the site for fertilization. The fallopian tubes consist of the infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus, and uterine part. The uterus is a hollow, muscular organ situated in the pelvic cavity. It supports fetal development during pregnancy. The uterine wall has 3 layers: the endometrium, or innermost mucal lining, the myometrium, or thick, smooth muscle, and the parametrium, or outer serosa. The endometrium undergoes cyclic changes to prepare for implantation. The cervix is the narrow lower part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. It serves as the birth canal, the receptacle for the penis during intercourse, and the exit for menstrual flow. External female genitalia, collectively called the vulva, include the labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, and vestibular glands. The genitourinary system is regulated by complex hormonal feedback loops involving the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and the gonads. Hormones such as follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH, luteinizing hormone, or LH, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone coordinate reproductive function and sexual development.
You've just completed a full journey through the intricate systems of the human body. From the surface of the skin to the depths of the brain, from the rhythmic beat of the heart to the quiet flow of lymph, from the spark of a neuron to the strength of a bone, you now hold a deeper awareness of the beautifully organized structure that supports life. Every organ, every vessel, every cell plays its part in a delicate balance, working together in silence around the clock. Whether you listened actively or simply let the words wash over you, whether you studied each system or allowed the sound to guide you into rest, you've taken time to nourish both your body and your mind. Let this knowledge settle gently. Let your breath stay slow and your body stay soft. You may be drifting off, or perhaps you're still here, peaceful, aware, and at ease. Either way, thank you for allowing this quiet space to support your curiosity and your calm. Your body is remarkable. Your mind is capable, and you are doing just fine. Until next time, be well and rest easy.